WWE comments on a possible CM Punk return. Plus, we had a shock NXT title change. And is an NXT star teasing a call-up? It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. Big day for WWE yesterday as they became TKO Holdings with UFC/Endeavor. And even on that day, which is all about business in the heart of Wall Street, CM Punk comes up in conversation.
Of course he does.
Of course he does. ESPN spoke about the WWE Endeavor merger and asked Nick Khan about Punk.
Yes, they asked him if WWE would be interested in a CM Punk return, and he gave a very interesting answer. One which I wasn't expecting. He said, "Listen, we only have respect for Phil. We appreciate his run here. We appreciate what he did and tried to do with the UFC. Not many people can actually get in there and do what he did. So when we have respect for Phil, we wish him nothing but the best." And as you've cunningly added here in the notes, which was what I was going to say as well, he didn't say no.
So you think there's a chance?
Yeah. Which, that's not what I thought. Maybe they'd be keen to kind of go, oh, we respect him, but, it might not work currently and stuff like that. But instead, no, he's kind of just gone, oh, yeah, we think he's great, and kind of just left it ambiguous.
I think you never say never. I genuinely think you never say never. I think it would be foolhardy for WWE, foolhardy, the lesser known Matt and Jeff brother.
Yes.
Would be foolhardy for them to ignore the fact that, this guy who is, admittedly had a bit of bother in AEW behind the scenes, but is a needle mover and a moneymaker.
Oh yeah, it would be a huge deal if he came back to WWE. It would just be interesting to see whether the backstage environment there would be more conducive to success.
It would be interesting to see. And as Nick Khan says there, CM Punk's got history in both WWE and some history in UFC as well. I think just enough history in UFC to make it into a UFC video game.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought when he said we respect what he did here and also what he tried to do with the UFC, at first I thought, oh, is that a bit of a sly jab because Punk didn't have the most successful time in the UFC? But I think he's probably just being quite genuine there, because then he doubles down and goes, not many people can actually go in there and do what he did. So it all seemed very genuine from Nick Khan. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
One to keep an eye on. But yeah, big day for WWE yesterday. As we say, TKO Holdings is officially here. The merger was closed yesterday. They rang the bell on Wall Street. We got a lovely photo of everybody together that looked like the Catalina wine mixer from Step Brothers. We had
who's on the drums?
Bows and hoes. I love the way that they went big on Wall Street. You had the massive WWE Championship belt. And a massive UFC Championship belt.
Did.
Either that or everybody was really tiny.
Yeah, they look much bigger on the telly.
What's this? A stock market for ants?
I should point out, just as we talk about the stock, their stock ended on the first day up 2.44%.
It did indeed. It was a good first day there, and also an excellent first day for WWE executives who got a bonus as a result of the closure. Nick Khan pocketing $15 million.
Just a casual $15 million.
Paul Levesque gets himself $5 million. As does Frank Riddick, he gets $5 million. And then there's Kevin Dunn getting a cheeky $7 million in his back pocket as well.
So when you said, I thought it was great what they did on Wall Street, before you mentioned the big props and everything, that's why I sort of twisted my face. I was like, was it great? Because it all feels very corporate and very soulless.
Very corporate. But when I say it was great in terms of
the spectacle.
Nobody does these bombastic spectacles. No. I mean, remember when back in the day, I think it was 2000, when WWF started trading on the stock market, they stuck a wrestling ring in the middle of New York, and they had matches for all the confused people just off to go and work. Where's it going?
That's what you are when you've got your coffee and a bagel.
New York traffic's stressful enough as it is, without a wrestling match breaking out halfway through.
Headbanger Thrasher.
What's Jerry Lynn doing? I don't know if Jerry Lynn was there. He probably wasn't. Our bonus, though, as fans, was a brand new picture of Kevin Dunn.
Yeah,
there he is.
Smiling away. I mean, he's $7 million richer, so fair play.
Yeah, I think he's laughing.
With $7 million, you could spare me and Tom $300,000 each, and it wouldn't make a dent. You could just give us that now, Kevin.
I'll be honest, at this point in the month, you could spare me 30 quid. I'd be fine with that. That'd be fine. I'm going to do a little, a big old deep dive into the merger of WWE and Endeavor /UFC, the birth of TKO Holdings. We're doing it on the YouTube channel later on today. But check out the podcast feed as well, because myself and Cultaholic.com's tribal editor-in-chief, Aidan Gibbons, have answered some of the big questions about this merger, what it means going forward. Will it change what we see on television going forward as well? It's all waiting for you on the podcast feed, that conversation with Aidan Gibbons from Cultaholic.com.
A big shout out to Aidan as well, because when the news he works hard all the time, but sometimes when the news all kicks off, he's a regular Tom Campbell. That's what he's like.
Oh, he's certainly up there, bless him.
He's certainly up there with me.
The old college try. Good on you, lad. God loves a trier. No, he's a good egg.
He is
now, back to more linear wrestling news. And NXT last night saw a shock title change.
It certainly did. One that I was not expecting at all. We all heard about the big build-up between Becky Lynch and the NXT Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton. It all stemmed from Tiffany Stratton cutting this promo where she said, "I'm going to be greater than all the NXT Women's Champions," and she listed off some of the names in that belt's very impressive history. But she also named Becky Lynch, and then Becky took to Twitter, or X, to say, "Oh, hang on there, I was never the NXT Women's Champion, but if you want me to give it a go, I don't mind wrestling you for it." It all led to this match last night, and now Becky Lynch is the NXT Women's Champion.
Surprised me.
I was surprised as well.
To see Becky Lynch raising, the title, above with her lovely arms across the world for all to see. I did not expect Becky Lynch to leave with the NXT Women's title last night.
No, it does make her a Grand Slam champion in WWE, having now won the NXT, Raw, SmackDown, and Tag Team Women's titles. She joins Asuka, Rhea Ripley, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte Flair, who all hold the same distinction. But even despite sort of completing that stat, I suppose, I was still surprised as well. I think because they really do seem to be building Tiffany Stratton up as somebody who's very promising for the future. She's really young. I think she's only about 24 or something, and she already seems. She only has about 2 years of training, and she already seems to be far beyond what you'd expect of a wrestler of that experience level. I was thinking about this, and I thought it does seem very counterintuitive to take the belt off her and give it to Becky Lynch, who's already done it all and isn't even a regular on NXT.
It feels quite Vince McMahon, doesn't it?
It does. That's what I feared on one hand, but then on the other hand, I was like, oh, they tried to do this with Pretty Deadly. They lost the belts to the Street Profits, and then it was almost like they were going to win the belts back and be galvanized as a result.
Lost to the New Day, didn't they?
They lost. Who did I say? The Street Profits. They lost to the New Day, and then Gallus got involved, and then I'm thinking of the Street Profits because they were there on Wall Street when the Bianca Belair and Montez Ford at least were there.
They were there hanging out, looking cool.
But no, then Gallus got involved. They won the belts from the New Day instead. But I always thought, what a missed opportunity. You could have had Pretty Deadly win those belts back from the New Day and be stronger as a result. I think that might be what they do with Tiffany Stratton.
Might be where we go. I reckon maybe NXT No Mercy.
Possibly.
We get Tiffy Stratton, Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch. And even if it's like a heelish, dirty win, I think you can't complain with someone so early in their career claiming the scalp of Becky Lynch. It's a huge name to beat.
Bron Breakker attempted to take the skull of Von Wagner last week, smashing his head into the steel steps in seemingly gruesome fashion. One that had us questioning whether it had gone wrong, because Von Wagner did not look good after that spot went down.
No, the camera angle was it obscured it as well. Yeah, it was panic stations, it seemed.
Now, it's as the days have gone on, it seems as if Von Wagner's okay. However, they're playing this up on television with Vic Joseph giving a statement from Von Wagner on NXT saying that he's been diagnosed with a minor skull fracture and there's no timetable for recovery at this time. So we're not going to see Von Wagner, I think, until maybe NXT No Mercy, when he'll run out with his head all bandaged up and beat up Bron Breakker.
Well, I do think that might well be the case because Bron Breakker seems to have a new feud set up off the back of this. His actions led to Baron Corbin trying to make friends with him, going, "You're all right, you."
Good that, Bron, what you did there.
With the steps in his head. "I think I want to be friends with you." And Bron went, "No." And they ended up having a brawl instead. There'd been tension with them in the weeks building up to this, but this seemed to be the sparking point of a new feud between the two. One which I can only imagine is to elevate Bron Breakker. But given what we've just said about Becky Lynch beating Tiffany Stratton, who knows?
Who knows, indeed.
Burn the ships. That's what Baron Corbin says now.
He loves burning ships.
He does need to stop it.
He's like a pyromaniac sailor.
It's very bad for the environment.
Last night as well, we saw a bit of a to-do between Dirty Dom and Carmelo Hayes that took place at the Performance Center. This is leading to a champion versus champion match next week.
That'll be an interesting match. Two different styles. Carmelo Hayes is all action. He's a true all-round all-rounder. He's amazing in the ring. Dom's a sneaky heel boy. So how is Carmelo Hayes going to be able to overcome that? I think it's very interesting. Dom did need to ask. He said, I need to ask Rhea Ripley for permission first. I think at the time, maybe... Oh, no, she's back now from India, isn't she? She wasn't on NXT anyway.
Well, no.
But it seems as though she said yes because the match is going.
He got clearance. Good morning, mother. Also, last night on NXT, talking about overcoming Wesley unable to overcome Ilya Dragunov in a top contenders match for NXT No Mercy, and Wesley packs his bag, clears out his locker, and says, "I'm done here in NXT," and he's gone.
And as you've rightly noted here, anytime this sort of thing happens, we end up speculating on the news whether this means a call-up is coming up soon for somebody, in this case Wesley. But I think in this instance, it doesn't necessarily mean a call-up's happening soon because they've made it a bit too obvious. They've gone, oh, he's done with NXT. And I think this is going to lead to him having either turning heel and embracing his more ruthless side, or bravely turning things around in an ultra babyface kind of way.
Well, I might be the better obscure company and say that on Friday he turns up in a lovely suit with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits.
That would work as well.
And we have a lovely faction.
That would work as well, because he can do all the fancy moves too.
He can do all the fancy moves too.
He's very good, and I hope that whatever Wesley ends up doing, I hope it works out well for him, because I think he does deserve it.
He is a good guy. He deserves it. Are you twitching tonight?
I'm twitching tonight with Owen Mawson, twitch.tv/Cultaholic. I'd booked some time off last week, and that meant that Owen was left on his own in the transfer market. So I'm coming back to a team. I think I'm going to...
Dougal's doing a funeral!
Yeah, I'm just going to find, Liverpool players from the early 2000s in the team. Why is Michael Owen here? He retired ages ago. I'm worried to see what the team looks like, but come and discover it with me. Twitch.tv/Cultaholic from 6 p.m. UK time.
And for the latest wrestling news throughout the day, check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you, bye.
Emil Heskey, what are you doing here?